Hello, everyone. So glad you're here. Welcome to the Advancement Center here in Santa Barbara. And the weather was threatening, but the sun is out and we're outside. Last week, I mentioned that we had been tested and retested by fire and rain. And just 2 days ago, on Friday, we were once again tested, this time by a powerful wind. David's broadcast was powerful as well. And we sent out a separate audio to make sure that no word was missed. There is an enormous feeling of power and strength of purpose of our Advancement Center up here on our elevated platform of living. Each and every one of us is present and allowing ourselves to be seen, recognized, and to see each other's magnificence. The title of today's broadcast is Select Your Essence and Live with It. There is an essence of everything and of everyone. Discover the essence that you brought here from your origin and never let it go. Perhaps it is better said, never allow your essence to be covered or obscured by circumstances or by others who don't truly see you as you are, but rather as reflections of themselves. Just by living in the world, there arise many occasions to dilute your essence. And after time, it becomes more than a memory of days gone by, and we reminisce on the freedom of childhood. Freedom of expression is the definition of a child. They cry when upset and giggle when they are delightedly happy. Children also don't obey limitations of polite society. There is a family story I was told many years ago when my uncle was about 3 years old. He asked his parents, my grandparents, for a violin. They considered this adorable and bought him a toy violin. When Milton opened his present, he cried, "I want a real violin." That little boy was in touch with his gifts that he had brought and was to become a world-famous violist and then the conductor of the Seattle Symphony. That's more than a story. That's something to live with. That's something that I would love to share with every new parent. And as it happens, I do sit on the board of the Peace School, which is based just on that, in keeping alive the essence of each child. So, thank you, Susan. Thank you, Robert. Susan was asked what is her heartfelt wish for her life. This was back in 2010. And she said, "I want to start a school." And Robert said, "And you will." And she's doing just that. What did you want most when you were little? I can remember turning my bedroom into a classroom with my dolls as my students, and I was a very understanding teacher and knew how each of my students was feeling. I also knew that in order to learn something new, they had to be receptive and loved and cared for. I wanted to be a teacher. It wasn't until many years later, when I was in an experimental program at Creedmoor Psychiatric Center, that's in Queens, New York. It was called Stress Reduction Learning, or SRL. I was there as a student teacher, earning credit at Queens College. My professors refused to observe me in that place. So I invited them all to my home one night for dessert, and I showed them a video of my activities. My credits were approved and counted, and I graduated. But that's not the end of the story. I worked with a group of teenage boys with every level of dysfunction. And Mark Stebbins, the director, requested that this group be brought to our makeshift wards where I was in charge of their activities. I share this with you today, almost disbelieving that I truly did these activities with these non-verbal boys who sometimes had outbursts. Some things that we did, I remember, was just learning how to sway in time to the music. And their favorite song was The Yellow Brick Road. I would invite them to stretch out on mats and meditate quietly while music was playing, or I would read simple poetry or a story. In other words, they were experiencing a calm that was not a part of their life ever back in their wards. One day I took them all outside to play. Michael Washington was lying face down on the grass. I lay face down next to him and spoke directly into his left ear, saying, "Michael, I know who you are. I know that you have a beautiful, loving heart, and you are a wonderful young man." He beamed. I'll never forget it. We all went back upstairs where we continued the afternoon activities. I had a video camera and filmed the boys while they were drawing or whatever they were doing, and magic happened. When I showed the video to them, they saw themselves. They might just as well have been TV stars. Yeah, this is as clear as it happened 4 minutes ago. I drew a big heart on a huge piece of paper with the following words: "Barbara loves Michael." Michael beamed. I don't remember if he wrote anything on it. I think he wrote a heart, right? And folded that big piece of paper 100 times. It saddens me to remember that the attendant forced that treasure from Michael before he took them all back to their wards. Those moments with Michael happened 44 years ago and remain as a treasure of essence, meeting and recognizing essence. And in that essence, I was free to follow my spirit and be the creative one I knew was me. As I remember those 7 years in the New York State psychiatric system, I am realizing that so many who I spoke to were there because they could not cope with the harshness of the world, and perhaps even were visionaries who should have been protected. I learned that the bizarre behavior was a defense to keep people away from further hurts. I told another Michael that he didn't need that waving of his arms with me. He was wild. He would scare most people. And he put his arms down by his sides. A magic moment. In other words, the discovery of the power of psychology to persuade those who have not discovered and clung to their essence are affected. And that is why what we are doing at this very moment is so important. And I'm thrilled to be here. You know, synonyms for essence are many: authentic, true, titration, absolute, unfiltered, real, original. Essence appears to be forfeited when coping systems are introduced to get by, earn a living, maintain the status quo. And the cost is so dear for the true essence, as in perfume. That is when so many settle for less. A moment of recognition I liken to Michelangelo, seeing the human forms trapped in those blocks of marble I saw on my way to seeing the David in Florence. The layers upon layers of guardedness fall away, and the speck of light grows into a small smile that grows and begins to shine. That is what we can do for and with each other. David has captured this, and he captures it the best. And this was always my inspiration as a coach and therapist for so many years. So you get to hear Uncover the Light. One day while out on a walk, you notice a light coming from inside a structure. The structure has been put up as if pieces were added to it over a long period of time. The way it is constructed makes you think that it was built and added onto to prevent the many storms that come to this area from ravaging the structure and destroying the light. There are pieces of plywood and shutters covering almost every crack and crevice. Yet, the light somehow is still able to be seen and, more importantly, felt. As you approach the shed-like structure, you are met by someone who speaks as though they are the owner of the property. They said that the storms of life kept coming and that they needed to hide their light for fear that it would be put out. As each storm approached, they put a new piece of armor to shield their light until it was encased in a fortress. They said that their light felt so vulnerable, and so did they. Each shutter and each piece of plywood represented an experience that they had gone through. Piece by piece, they were put up until the light was hidden from almost everyone. They said that they were helpless to remove the boards from the structure and free the light, but they realized that since this person could see the light, even through all the boards, that maybe they could remove them. The person said that they would gladly remove each shutter and each piece of plywood until the beautiful light from within could shine for all the world to see. And in that moment, it was done. The light would never again be blocked or hidden, and it would shine so bright that not even the light of the sun could compare. This is what we do for each other. We uncover the light. Love, David. Thank you, David. You are our treasure. Now, hmm? Okay. I found what I was looking for. Nothing is ever lost. My mother used to say, nothing is lost in the kingdom of God. She's right. Okay. A Facebook memory popped up just before, and I recognized that it was a gift for all of us. And here it is. So the more we stretch ourselves into that field that we think is unknown, the more familiar we'll become with our abilities in a world that has been presented in a probably incorrect manner to us. The world is a friendly place, and we do have the attributes necessary to create the calm and the satisfaction that we have in knowing that one another are in this world to demonstrate the special parts of themselves that nobody else knows about. Your ability to shine when there's nothing obvious becomes not only the mystery of life, but it becomes the source of life. We have within us a power system that is in excess of any power station that's ever been built. And that's each individual. And if that power is switched on and running and not directed at any person or anything, it amplifies itself throughout the universe and runs continuously to provide whatever you need through whatever means is necessary. It doesn't have to be converted to electricity or mechanical power or money or pressure or persuasion. It runs and provides everything. And you feel it as soon as you have a little bit of joy in your heart and a little bit of mischief, because all these things are there to fire up your system, the one that makes you buzz and allows you to just have the greatest fun of all times, no matter what's happening around you. This power system is actually in the movement of energy and fields and interaction, continuous interaction with all the planetary objects, people, things, stars, you name it. The continuous interaction is like music. And it's a special music that each one of us knows. And as that music runs through us, it turns every cell of our body on till it turns on everything that works endlessly to support us in the physical world. And it turns on everything that's impossible so that we can play with it and watch how marvelous we really are. Robert Young. Thank you, Robert. The other night at dinner, I spoke of a desire to only have fresh produce, non GMO, and certainly not sprayed. Robert clearly told me that I don't need any external information about the food we eat. I can hold food in my hand and know what is the right food to eat. He explained that it is within our essence to know. This has certainly been sidestepped in this commercial world where we are being sold products, gadgets of measurement, and too many remedies for induced problems that were never heard of years ago. Too often, we are directed to ask experts for advice, even though we know the answers. The Advancement Center is here for all who realize that heaven is here on earth now, with a direct connection to Source and our Creator. The same. Try as they might, once selected, your essence cannot be geoengineered. It is your light, and darkness is destroyed by the light. The essence of you is light. And no dark closet can withstand your presence. And now I was sent the Pleiadian Light Forces transmission. And this was sent to me from Suzanne in Costa Rica. Suzanne also sent that perfect photo for your invitation about a minute before it was going to press. So thank you, Suzanne. And I'll just read a little bit. And if you want the entire piece, email me. Great ones. 2 Earth weeks ago, the Earth Alliance confirmed that large numbers of benevolent new light fleets showed up in Earth's solar system and were spotted near the sun by solar telescopes, sending powerful 40 hertz, 50, 5D gamma energy beams towards Earth. As more and more Federation ships line up in the skies, all systems are green light tango go for the greatest show in the universe. Major preparations are underway by the Galactics at this hour as planetary liberation operations have been escalated by light forces for the purpose of opening incredible energetic stargates to elevate this entire realm up to the 5th dimensional level. Light forces are working from every angle to achieve a critical mass elevation of consciousness in preparation for the event culmination in the Earth year 2020. This entire cosmos is undergoing major change as light forces are arriving in this solar system in mass numbers to witness and play a part in the grand ascension of mad planet Earth and its inhabitants. I think I hear the fleet. It's a good sign. They just passed over us. Okay. The jewel of David's broadcast, undeterred by the wind, is David's writing. Thank you, David, for being our dear friend. And now I'm going to read Beyond Unspeakable. If I can see you and your magnificence, then everything is done. Clothed in royal attire, then everything is done. Just as Michelangelo saw the true beauty and felt the true essence inside the marble as he sculpted his amazing pieces of art, so too do we see the incredible beauty inside your form. Not only the beauty, but the power, the grandeur, and the mystery that is you. Undefinable, indescribable, beyond unspeakable. Wow. What a joy it is to see this in every being at all times. It is the greatest gift you can receive when you can know, see, and feel beyond all the layers of humanness that have covered over the immensity of who each person truly is. This is really the definition of love. To go beyond the exterior, to speak and listen as if there is no exterior, and watch as the layers of humanness fall away. These layers come out of the human experience. Layers of programming, layers of beliefs, layers of survival, layers of disappointment, layers of self-doubt, layers of self-judgment, layers of suppression, and layers of fear. In spite of the density of these layers, your true essence and magnificence cannot be hidden from those who can see the true beauty and perfection that exist inside your form. The rough-hewn piece of marble, seemingly riddled with imperfections, knows that it is just the housing for the masterpiece that is destined to be seen. We've had the pleasure to see this masterpiece in others, loved ones, and friends who may be sitting right next to us, and even strangers that we meet in a fleeting moment of connection. It requires a level of mastery to see it in others, and the gift you receive when you see it is unspeakable. But it requires an even greater mastery to see it in yourself. And when you do, and you most certainly will, the gift you receive will be beyond unspeakable. For then you will know the full expression of the word we use, call love. For as it was written, love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails, but where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part and we prophesy in part, but when perfection comes, imperfection disappears. For now, we see only a reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. I see you, and what I see is beyond unspeakable. Thank you, David. Thank you all for being here, listening, feeling, and loving. All of us here at the Advancement Center are wishing you a perfect life, perfect health, and a very magical future. Thank you.